Let us begin by reading the word problem out loud. Several Nike and Titleist brand golf balls were found in the water hazard of a golf course. There were a combined total of 21 Nike and Titleist golf balls. If there were twice as many Nike than there were Titleist golf balls, how many of each brand were found in the water hazard? So the first thing we want to do in our strategy for problem solving is analyzing the problem. When analyzing the problem, we want to identify the question that's being asked. So in this problem, we're asked, how many of each brand were found in the water hazard? So now that we know what it is we're being asked to find, let us go ahead and assign a variable. So we'll go ahead and jump to step 2. So there's two brands to keep in mind, Nike and Titleist, and we want to know the number of each that were found in the water hazard. So we're going to have two variables. We'll go ahead and use X and Y. So we're going to have X is going to equal the amount of Nike golf balls, and Y is going to represent the amount of Titleist golf balls. Again, it's basically the question reworded in the form of a statement. So now let us go back to analyzing the word problem. Well, we know there's two types of golf balls, Nike and Titleist, and we know they're found in the water hazard. So that could be a pond or a lake or some type of water reservoir. And now here's where the key thing comes into play. We know that there were a combined total of 21 Nike and Titleist golf balls. And also, we know that there were twice as many Nike than there were Titleist golf balls. So that's going to be our two equations there. So we'll go ahead and start off with the first one. So now, there were a combined total of 21 Nike and Titleist golf balls. So combined total is an indicator of addition. So we're going to have a sum. And now, what are we summing up? Well, the number of Nike and Titleist golf balls, which is represented by variables X and Y. And what is that supposed to be equal to? Well, it's supposed to be equal to 21. So there we go. That's going to be our first equation. And now our second equation tells us that there are twice as many Nike than there were Titleist golf balls. So we're going to have X and Y. And now the indicator of twice as many means we're going to have to either multiply the X by 2 or the Y by 2. So now keep in mind, if you want X to be equal to Y, and we know that X is supposed to be bigger since it is representative of the Nike golf balls, that means we're going to have to multiply the smaller one by 2. So there we go. So those are going to be our two equations. So now let us go ahead and solve the equations. We'll start off by writing down the original equations. So X plus Y equals 21 will be one equation. And the other one is X is equal to 2Y. So one thing that we want to notice is that X is already completely isolated and by itself in the second equation. We know it is equal to 2Y. So what we're going to do, we're going to automatically substitute that in to the first equation. So now X is 2Y plus Y is equal to 21. So then we have 2Y plus Y, which gives us 3Y is equal to 21. And then therefore, if we want to get the Y completely by itself, we have to undo the multiplication of 3. The only way to do so is by dividing. And then we end up dividing both sides by 3. So on the left-hand side, we have a 3 divided by 3, which is a 1. So in simplified version, it's just 1 times Y, which is Y. And then 21 divided by 3 gives us a 7. So now we know that Y is equal to 7. So what we're going to do with that, we're going to plug that into the second equation. So we're going to have X is equal to 2 times Y, which is 7. And we end up with X is equal to 2 times 7, which is 14. So there we go. We have both of our variables solved for. So now let us go ahead and see the conclusion clearly. Keep in mind that we want our conclusion to be worded in the form of a statement, which is reflected from the question. So the question was how many of each brand were found in the water hazard. So therefore our conclusion is going to be there were 14 Nike and 7 Titleist golf balls found in the water hazard. Again, it's simply the question reworded in the form of a statement. So now let's go ahead and check the result. So again, we always start off with the original equations found in step 3. So x plus y is equal to 21, and we have x is equal to 2y. So in the first equation, we're going to have 14 plus y is equal to 21, and indeed 14 plus 7 is 21. So we have 21 is equal to 21, and that verifies our first equation. Now plugging in the things into the second equation, we end up with 14 is equal to 2 times y, which is 7. So we end up with 14 is equal to 14, and another true statement. So that verifies that both our equations are correct, and therefore our solutions are correct as well.